What up, everybody? It's your boy Eric Love, and once again, you're tuned in live to the Anharts Radio podcast. I am Eric Love, and I am here with your boy PJ.
Yo, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. How about you?
Pretty good, not bad today. Today's Thursday. It's about 6:30. Feeling great. What about you?
I'm great, man. It's been beautiful weather. It's getting a little bit warmer, starting to feel like spring. I'm ready for it, man. I love spring.
Me too. Got the birds, the animals, the trees, all that shit. I'm loving it, bro.
Yeah, man. The other day, my dad went to go buy a couch.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say where, but when he went to the store, he was talking to the manager.
All right.
And he was like thinking to himself, well, damn, she's pretty cute. Now, my dad, happily married. He's been married to my mom for many years. Don't worry, it's not like that. He asked her if she was married. She said no. He asked her how old she was. She said she was 29. He's like, oh, snap. Well, my son's 30.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I got a son. You should meet him. So he's showing her embarrassing videos of me dancing salsa and just like different pictures of me. And he told her that he's going to bring me when he came to pick up the couch. So he leaves and he lets me know.
Okay.
I'm like, damn, Dad, why'd you have to show that video, man? My salsa needs, I need a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But it's all good, man. So I ended up going yesterday and I got there a little bit earlier than him. And he's like, go inside and, ask them for whatever we need to get it started. And then ask for her. Her name is, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to put it out there. But anyway, yeah. So I go in there. I'm a little bit nervous, but, I'm 30 years old now, man. You're just talking to people at this point. It ain't nothing. So I get the ticket that we need. And then I ask the lady, is there somebody here that works by the name of so-and-so? And she happened to be standing right there, and I figured because, honestly, she was the cutest girl in there,
Yeah.
And I go up to her and I say, listen, my name's Eric. My dad was going to come in here and straight up embarrass me. So I figured, you know what? Let me beat him to the punch, and, I'm capable of embarrassing myself. So
Yeah. How did she take it?
She laughed, and she was really cool about it, and I was able to get her number, and
Wow.
I told her, I said, I don't really approach people like this at their job. I don't like to do that. I wouldn't want to be approached like that at my job.
Yeah.
Actually, I would, but but you know what I mean. I'm sure a pretty girl like herself gets that all the time.
Probably,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, man. I ended up getting the digits. I've yet to hit her up, but hey, man, shout out to my dad, man. My dad, we've never had that kind of relationship where
That's cool.
we talk about my sex life or just talk about females. He might give me a little bit of advice there, the basic find yourself a good girl, good job, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
shout out to my pops, man. She's a good one. I'm gonna hit her up and see what's good soon.
That's good, man. Hell yeah. That's cool right there. I wish I had that opportunity, so take that while you can.
But yeah, man, I just wanted to tell that story real quick. Moving on from that, I don't mean to switch it up to a negative topic, but this is something that I wanted to talk about because it's kind of interesting. Do you know who we talked about Jussie Smollet, right?
Yes.
On an earlier episode.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, when we last talked, I told you that he was sentenced to 150 days in the Cook County Jail and 30 days probation for staging a hate crime.
That's right.
And personally, I thought the punishment fit the crime. Because I figured, you know what? Yeah, he got that punishment, but let's be real. He's a celebrity. He has good money.
Yeah.
He runs for the Democrat Party. They're gonna hook him up one way or another. He's gonna get out early on good behavior. I didn't know that it was gonna last 3 days, bro. He's out.
He's already out?
He's out. He's out on bond.
Wow.
Yeah, they had an appeal at this other court, and they ordered that he be released after just 3 days.
3 days.
So what do you think? Do you think he got special treatment?
Oh, of course. I mean, shit. Think about it. If it was me or you, do you think they would let us out in 3 days?
Hell no.
We ain't nobody compared to, because we're not all over the place. He's got connections, lawyers, and money.
Do you think somebody who staged a hate crime should be put in jail?
I think so. I think because it says a lot about itself. You do that with a hate crime. You stage a hate crime. what does that say about him? Like, what does that really say about him? Why would he even use that as a terminology or in general just staging a hate crime?
Right.
Like, why? Like, what are you getting out of it? That's one question I would like to ask him myself.
Right.
Like, I mean, because what I'm getting at and what I see, I don't know the situation of what happened exactly from point A to point B, C, whatever, exhibit, whatever, but when you stage a hate crime, there's something there that's either inside of you. That either you could be prejudiced, or you don't like certain people,
Yep.
or you just have a problem.
Yep. Those are good. Those are great points.
So it has to be something that we don't know. And that's why I would like to ask him, what are you thinking? What's going on?
Yeah, because you know what? If you make all these claims that this world and this nation is inherently racist, we have a systematic racism. If it's so racist, you don't have to fake or state. So what are you doing? I think that he has prejudice against a certain type of people.
Exactly.
And he wanted to be the personal victim of this, and to be a martyr, and to be someone who is revered as this hero who stood up in the face of racism. But he faked the whole thing. If you really look into it, and you look at all the evidence presented and all the what do you call it? All the stories and all the account witnesses and everybody who was involved, the evidence is like crazy stacked against him.
Really?
Like when I read all of it, I was just like, there's no way this is true. It doesn't add up. It's just so funky. You know what I mean? It's so funny. But I also agree that somebody should be doing jail time for that, because
Yep.
you're doing the very thing that you're supposed to be standing up against.
Exactly.
You're causing racial divide.
Exactly.
And you're manufacturing it. You're making it up. What is that?
And that's something that we have to find out. You know what I mean? We don't know what's in his brain. We don't know what he's gone through. Maybe he's gone through something in school with the people that the race of whatever he did it to that did something to him. Or maybe I don't know, but all I know is everybody, no matter who you are, has racism in them. No matter who you are, no matter what race you come from, you're not going to like a certain type of people because either the way they drive, the way they smell, what they cook. It just depends on how you feel about the people, so
No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't call it racism, but definitely prejudice.
Prejudice.
Everybody has their prejudices,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. That's what I mean, prejudice. So, it just, with him, 3 days, wow, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's something.
3 days? What does that say about...
I thought he was already in there for a while. So that tells you a lot about society, a lot about people, a lot about people who have money or out there, out and about. Like, for example, we were just talked about him, Mr. West. All this shit happened. If it was me or you, and we were ranting on about something, they would cut us off completely, bro. Because we're nothing to nobody out here.
Right.
You know what I mean? But everybody who's a, what you call that? Everybody who's celebrity or just in general, just famous, dude, they get in and out of shit so much. Definitely. It's unreal, So there's, hopefully one day we could figure out, or I really want to talk to this guy now because you told me this, just to see where he's really at and what really happened to him, or what's he thinking.
Well, you should read into it, because I read into it a bit, and there's nothing that was presented on his side that really changed my mind, really, honestly. And it's very interesting because you see his brother, and I think it was his sister, an attorney of his, and then Taraji P. Henson, who's a very big star in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She plays Yvette in Baby Boy.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
They're out there just speaking on his behalf, saying that this is, he was attacked. This is a injustice. This is wrong, blah, blah, blah. But I think that because they're so close to him, of course they're going to defend him in that way. Of
course, they need him. That's where they all make money together.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make money together, yeah.
I was very upset with Taraji P. Henson because of a comment she made. I don't know if you heard this.
What'd she say?
She said that she was comparing the Jussie Smollett situation to what happened to Emmett Till way back in the day. Now, do you know who Emmett Till is?
You got to refresh your brain, because I don't know.
Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was arrested for supposedly whistling at a white lady. And what they did to him was they tied him to a back of a truck. These two white men tied him to a back of a truck, by his feet and dragged him all throughout town to humiliate him and ultimately kill him, murder him.
That's crazy.
Only to find out after his death that the lady who accused the little boy of whistling at her, she admitted to lying about that. It wasn't true.
And now he's not even here anymore.
Now, I don't know if you guys know who Emmett Till is. There's very gruesome pictures, because this is way back in the 50s, or around that time. There's pictures, and it's very gruesome. I'll give you that disclaimer, but you should look at it as a reminder of what hate really, really looks like. What happened to Jussie Smollett doesn't even compare to that. It's quite frankly disrespectful for her to even say that. There's certain things, especially in the black community. I can't, I'm not African American, but I'm comfortable saying that is one thing that is sacred. You don't touch that.
Yeah.
What happened to Emmett Till is disgusting across all races. I don't care who you are. It is just terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that 100%. You know, I mean, I think I've heard a story like that when I was younger. It could be tied
It's
to
very,
the same
very
one.
famous.
Yeah, I think it could be the same, but
Infamous,
damn,
I should say.
that's sad, man. You know, you can't even. I thought this country was supposed to be a freedom of speech. You could be able to say what you want, do what you want, but now you can't. You say certain things about gays, or you say certain things in general, even about a president or about whatever. They're coming after you, bro, or whoever it is. That's somebody that has pull in this country. They're coming after you.
Yeah. So, I mean, Taraji P. Henson, I don't know if you ever hear this. You probably won't. But I suggest you apologize to that family, because that's wrong. You just diminished what that family went through and what that little boy went through over something that your friend did that was overwhelmingly had so much evidence proving that he lied. So just because he's your friend, I understand. But look, if you think he's innocent, that's one thing. But don't compare it to that. That's just ignorant. You know, I feel that you're hurting the very people that you stand up for when you do that.
Exactly, and I agree. What I wanted to know is that, what was he talking about? Oh, I'm not crazy, or I'm not suicidal. What the fuck was all that?
That was very odd. Yeah, I agree.
So that's what I mean, for him coming out to say that when the topic's not even about that. That shows me he's not screwed too tight up there.
Yeah, I mean, my personal belief, and I'm going to go there, I think that he was a political pundit. He was used by the Democrat Party to just kind of conjure up this way of making Donald Trump look bad. And, there's, if you want to call it a conspiracy theory, I don't think it's so much a conspiracy theory, because there's just so many occurrences throughout time where when you go against very powerful Democrat people, you end up missing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you have very sensitive information on somebody, you get killed. You get, you know what I mean? You get taken out, like Epstein.
Yes.
Andrew Breitbart, back in the day, he was a conservative reporter, and he went after very high profile people in Hollywood, people in government, all over the place, very powerful people, and he was poisoned. I believe he was poisoned. Check this out, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, but Andrew Breitbart was this very influential conservative guy. He ended up dying, right? Mysteriously out of nowhere. So the coroner, the guy who does the the examination, he said it was natural causes. So it put all these like conspiracy theories to rest. So a little bit of time passed by, and the day that the autopsy report was due, the coroner dies.
Whoa.
With a belly full of poison.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty. Wow, that's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. Why would they kill the coroner?
There's something he knew that he probably was gonna put out there.
He was the one other person that knew about, and he was probably paid to say that it was natural causes, but then they wanted to tie up all loose ends, so they took him out.
They took him out completely because they knew eventually it's gonna come out, so they got to get rid of the source, and he was the source.
So I think Jussie Smollett was tied into some very big names. They did not want that sensitive information being put out there because he was in possession of that information, and so he was afraid, and he said, I am not suicidal. But I was thinking to myself, no one cares about you enough to kill you.
Exactly.
Who are you?
Exactly. Exactly.
But he wouldn't say that unless You know, he knew what was after him.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, there's shit we don't know because, see, we're not up there at that Richter scale. And eventually she's going to hear this once we get our name out there. This will probably go around once it gets online. You know, like you said, once you put it online, it's going to fire out there. And eventually she's going to hear it. And I would love to hear her feedback and see what she thinks, you know, because I think, like I said in the earlier episode, everybody deserves a chance. But take responsibility for this shit. If you fucked
Exactly.
up and you know you did, say, look, you know what? I fucked up. How much do I owe you? I got the money. What do I need to pay? Period. That's just what it is. So, yeah, man. 3 days that's pretty. Wow. I thought he was still in there. I didn't even know. I'm like, damn. All right. Well.
And the way things are going these days, watch him end up with a new sitcom or a new show that he's in.
Oh yeah.
And everything that he did was just forgotten.
Yeah.
It kind of works that way for liberal democratic people. It just does.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if you're really paying attention out there and you're seeing who's being favored and who's not being favored, it does come down to a political, you know, partisan issue. So
No, you're right.
it's something we got to pay attention to, man. There's a lot of things that are just off nowadays.
Yes.
And it's not by accident. It's not by coincidence, you know.
No, it's
There's
already
a higher power making this happen.
and the higher powers. I don't know who it is. They say
Or what it is.
They say it's Illuminati. They say it's other things, but it's something that we will never know unless we get up there with them. You know,
I call it the deep state.
the deep
The
state.
deep state. And it's coming to the light every day. All the darkness, all the things that are done in the dark,
Will
it's coming
come
to the light, man.
Oh yeah.
And that's just how it goes.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, like we were talking about with the biological weapons. We don't. Now all of a sudden you got to destroy this because you know it's crazy. You know, it's just it's nuts how everything.
It's just amazing that week after week after week there is a bombshell coming out, and you would think that like so many people will be held accountable, but it's not. Just, you know, like you just said with the bio labs, they denied it week after week, and then all of a sudden, oh, there is bio labs. Oh, but those are health labs. But you completely denied it altogether. That's a freaking lie.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm not even gonna get into this right now, but I am gonna mention it because this deserves a whole episode on its own.
Yes.
But I'm gonna just bring it up right now. The Democratic Party, the Biden administration, mainstream media, Speaker of the House, all these people straight up denied the legitimacy of Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden had a laptop that got into the possession of a PC repairman, and the PC repairman, in trying to fix it, uncovered a lot of sensitive emails and other documents that was very incriminating towards Hunter Biden. It was Hunter Biden's laptop 100%. It had all these photos of him with all these girls who looked freaking young,
Wow.
smoking crack. Those videos made it onto the internet. I was kind of looking around and I found it on this website called GTV. It's a Chinese website. It's like a YouTube, but they be posting some raw ass stuff.
Yeah.
It's not there now because I recently looked and it's not there anymore, but it was there. This dude smoking crack. He's hooking up with these bitches. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's podcast, man.
This
Uncensored.
podcast, man,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Uncensored, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, denied it for weeks, months, years, or a whole year. New York Times just reported that it was legitimate. It was his laptop. So they're sitting here lying to us. They're lying to us about everything. Something tells me they're lying to us about this war.
That's true.
You know,
I agree.
and I think it's a global effort. It's something that's not just happening in this country. It's happening all over the world, and it's unified. I don't know what it is. I call it the deep state. And yeah, it's something to keep an eye on, man, because they could very well just change the fate of everybody, and you know, they could change our whole lives
That's true.
at their own discretion without our say.
And at all.
Like we mentioned the other day, without any of the people's consent, the U.S. Senate just passed a bill saying that we're gonna have daylight saving time permanently.
Yes.
It's not a good idea.
I don't think so either. I don't think so at all.
And this was pushed by a senator in Florida because he wanted people to be out longer so it can generate money,
More money,
in
right?
their nightlife. But what about the people in middle America where, you know, it doesn't get late, it doesn't get dark until after 9,
Yep.
Not only that, when they get up in the morning and have to drop their kids off at school in rural communities, they're walking to school in pitch black dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're driving in pitch black dark. It's dangerous.
It
You
is.
know, there's a lot of things that just they've tried this in the past already, people. They've done this experiment in the past and people hated it and it
Yeah.
lasted 9 months and they had to reverse it. It's like, don't these politicians know that this happened before? Don't they know their own history?
I agree. I think they do, but it's a money scheme. It's all part of
Yep.
money, you know. Uh, a lot of it has to do with a lot of new things coming up, and like you said, it's gonna be scary for these kids or just people out dark. You know, early 5:36 is still dark, and you're like, damn, you know, like I gotta walk, 20 miles, not 20 miles. I'm over exaggerating, guys. Like 20
But yeah,
minutes.
it's a long distance.
Yeah, and then you don't know who's hiding or you don't know what's going on, so you're kind of taking a chance. But a lot of it, I think, has to do with also, like I said, money, internet, and basically, just to kind of keep things going, to keep up. Because there's a lot of countries that don't change their time either.
Hmm.
There's Arizona here doesn't change their time. I know that for
Really?
sure. Yeah, my cousin used to live there, and he's like, "Why do you guys always changing your time?" Yeah, and then he's
Wow.
yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, so it's a lot that we don't know that's behind the scenes, and like you said, what's in the dark is going to come out in the light
That's right.
eventually. We might be 10 years from now, but you're gonna find out why they did this shit.
Hey, at least on this podcast, that's what we're gonna try to do.
Yeah. We
You
try
know?
to give you the facts and straight up the real information, not no bullshit. There's a lot of shit online, but if you can get it from different countries, news from different places and different things, and they all match, it's pretty sure it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, other countries are not going to know about the U.S. unless it's been put out there. And same thing with like what's going on with the wars we talked about and everything. There's a reason why he did this. Not to be mean, there's something there that we don't know that the U.S. is not gonna tell us, and it could be, oh, you know what, if we need to get you off our land, we want our land back, or I don't know, because I can't come up with anything, but there's something there, and once we figure it out, that's it. I was listening to some of Putin's, like some of his speeches, and he was saying some shit that kind of made sense about the wars back in 1812 and just certain things he brought from history all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. And he said this is why he's doing this. And I'm going to get some more info on it and give you the correct information before I even put it out there. But this is what I've seen. And I'm like, man, like, then why is the U.S. having us do this or saying this, and that? Biden doesn't want to comment on anything. And then I seen other shit about the other day with Donald Trump and the Russia. I guess he doesn't like, what is it, Ukraine. They're trying to make him like a bad guy. Like I told you before, I got no problem with the man. He did a really good job here.
Mm-hmm.
But why are they trying to make him like a bad guy?
They've been doing that for the past
Yeah,
4 years, you know?
yeah. They put 10 clips together of saying, "Oh yeah, Ukraine this, Ukraine that, da 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 da." Da. And I'm like, well, shit, or he's. Oh yeah, I can say what he did say was something about Crimea. Crimea
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to be a part of the Ukraine, but since it's together,
Right.
they have to deal with the freedom and the certain things.
It's true. I mean, there's a lot of Ukraine. Ukraine came from Russia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was once a part of Russia. So there's a lot of Russians still in the Ukraine, and they identify as Russians.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of angles to this war, people. I mean, they're making this Zelensky guy out to be a hero. I don't think he's much of a hero. I mean, if you really look into what the Ukrainian government is really about, they're not the most they're not the greatest government out there. They're not doing the best things for the people.
No, not at
And
all.
and he's being paraded around like some sort of hero by our government. And I don't know, man. Everybody, you have to do your research and just kind of seek out the truth, because there's a lot of information out there that's just put out there to kind of distort things and just kind of change your perception of what is reality,
No, you're right.
So I mean,
agree.
yeah, we'll switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about this a lot because it's current, it's what we're living through. But another story in the news that I found kind of interesting and kind of made me want to formulate this question. Well, there was a man in Oregon who won $8.9 million in the Mega Bucks lottery. on a
Wow.
ticket that he had forgotten about. And the ticket covered 13 weeks of drawings. So my question
Wow.
to you was, had you been this man, how would you spend your $8.9 million?
Shit. Well, first off, the first thing I'm doing is taking care of close people to me. I'm paying off all my bills. And then the rest of it, I would invest it into stocks, other different countries that would make me money, a lot of real estate. I would kind of make the money work for me. That way I could travel, spend more time with the family and kids. It'd basically be investments, man. That's what I would do. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Uh, but I don't know. To be honest, I never had that kind of money.
I know, right?
So I don't. I can tell you like, but that's one of the things that I would start doing. I would see what could I do to make sure that I don't have to ever work again,
Yep.
and then money just keeps generating.
Yep.
And it doesn't follow or like 10 years later, oh, now, this is, bankrupt, da da da. No, I would make sure I would open up stuff for kids. Like, I would make sure I have shelters for people, even though I would give them a time frame. Hey, you have this much. If you don't, you got to leave because we got to make room for other people. Like, there would be so many things going on. So, yeah, what about you? How would you spend your money?
Man, I mean, I honestly can't answer it too much better myself. I would do a lot of the same. Right off the bat, I would give, probably between my brother and my parents, I would give about 1.5 towards them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then the rest, I would buy a house. I would basically invest it too. I would invest it in ways where I knew that I could make money back and just overall build my wealth, whether it be real estate, stock market, small business, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, $8.9 million is way more money than I've ever seen. I don't even think I've spent that much money in my lifetime. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah. I mean, look, speaking of investing, I do a little bit of investing myself. I'm not no financial advisor. I'm not no expert, but I will, if I may, give you a little bit of advice. We mentioned earlier that there is a big time agenda for electric vehicles and just basically taking the country to a more green place. So I highly suggest investing into companies that have anything to do with electric vehicles, whether it be lithium, whether it be a battery making company, electric vehicle charging stations, any sort of infrastructure that goes towards that. Look into it, see what the long term plan is. If you can envision that this company will be around for the long haul, if it's a reasonable price that you can afford, hey, throw some money at it, leave it alone,
Yeah.
forget about it, because in investing you have to trust. When you invest into something, you have to trust the business model that this company has. And if you feel like they're going to be around a long time, then go for it, and,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
do it, tactfully. If you're gonna, if say you have $500 to spend in investing, you don't need to spend all $500 at once. You can buy $100 worth one day, see if it comes down. If it comes down a little bit, hey, guess what? Buy again. If it goes back up, you can either sell off and make that little bit of profit, or you can wait till it comes back down. But every time it comes back down and you feel like in 10 years from now it's going to be very high, any moment you get where it seems like it's hitting the bottom of its curve on the chart, you buy. And that way, if you're buying $100 worth of shares at $30, instead of buying $500 at $30, you can do 100 at 30, and then another 100 at $28, 27, and then the long haul when that thing goes up to 100 and plus, you'll be making decent money.
Yes, guaranteed. That is a good lesson. I just learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
So
how about you? You doing any investing lately?
a little bit. I haven't really been on it lately. It's been plump, like going up and down. I did good the last couple of days. It's starting to go back up a little bit,
Right.
but nah, I really haven't been. It's just been down. So I bought a couple of shares here and there. I spent about $50. But that's it. I haven't really been on it
Yeah.
like I should be. You know what I mean? Every time I
Hey, I
look in the
mean,
morning, I'm like, dang, this ain't looking good. So
a lot of it's been very unpredictable. It's the market's very much influenced by what's going on in the world, and anytime something looks bleak or bad or whatever, it tends to drive prices down. A lot of people get discouraged when they see that. They think that, oh, it's not a good time to buy because the economy looks bad. actually when the economy's bad is when it's the best time to buy.
Yes.
Because you got to figure at some point it's going to correct itself and the market's going to go back up, and then you had already bought all these stocks for the low, so now when it fixes itself and it's back up, you're in the green and you're looking good, and you can sell off and take that profit if you like.
Yeah, that's true. That's real true. That's something I'm going to keep my eyes on. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I still need a little work on the stocks. I know a little bit here and there. I'm learning as I go. But we got a couple of people. Elo,
Mm-hmm.
Big Charles. I got talked to a lot of people at
Yep.
work,
Yep.
and they kind of game me up and let me know a little bit here and there, and so I'm learning. And eventually, shit, I'll get up there to where I'm like, yeah, I could put $300 on this and 500 here, da da da. Once I get there, but I don't want to just drop that kind of money with no education.
Yeah, yeah,
That's like jumping in an airplane seat and you don't know how to fly that motherfucker. You
right,
know what I
right.
mean? You ain't got no education. Hey, but if if you was life or death, I guarantee you're gonna try to figure that shit out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
Hey, you know what? There's a lot to learn, but honestly, it's simpler than it seems. The best thing to do is talk to people, watch videos, and just educate yourself, like he said, and you'll be all right. You just gotta play it smart and just kind of learn from your mistakes and capitalize on your the things that you do well. So yeah, we'll leave it right there. In the future we'll talk about this some more and try to help people out, and we'll try to get other people's input too on some of these subjects. But we thank you for listening like always.
and God bless y'all. You guys be good and stay safe, man, because things out here are crazy.
Yep, that's right, man. All right, everybody, have a good night.